Hey there, and welcome to another video. Today, I'll be reviewing Insect Breathing, which is a very unique but powerful moveset that excels in destroying players with its insane combos. Insect, similarly to water, is incredibly strong offensively, but is balanced out by not having an evasive, making this breathing a true glass cannon. It can be pretty hard to punish at times, which makes it great for one-on-one fights. In this video, I'll be going over Insect's moveset, how to best use it, how to fight against it, and the pros and cons of insect breathing. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. The first move of insect breathing, and its main combo starter, is Caprice, which is a pretty simple move overall. On usage, the user will go into a stance before dashing and stabbing whoever their cursor is on, stunning the target and dealing average damage. This move is blockable for obvious reasons, and has end lag if it's blocked, meaning that the user can be punished if they use it recklessly. It's an auto-aim combo starter that's very similar to Unknowing Fire from Flame Breathing. One noticeable difference between these two moves, however, is where the user of the move ends up when it's used. Regardless of whether the move is blocked or not, the user will always end up a little bit further from their opponent, usually behind them. This is different from Unknowing Fire, as instead of teleporting you right to them, you'll have to turn around and move a bit to M1 your target. This does have the opportunity to work in your advantage though, as it can make it harder for opponents to punish you if they block it. While Caprice is great for combo starting, it struggles when combo extending from M1s. However, it can very easily turn a lot of the ragdoll and knockback moves that Insect has into combo extenders, so it's still great for combos. Caprice has an average cooldown of around 10 seconds. The second move that Insect Breathing has access to is Bee Sting, which is a very unique move with a lot of uses for combat. On usage, the user goes into a stance and begins to run forward, accelerating even faster the longer the move is held. Eventually, the user will reach the maximum duration of the move, or can choose to stop holding it, and they will stab forward, dealing good damage and ragdolling anyone it hits, while also knocking them back a far distance. This move is holdable, but if you decide to just press the button without holding it, you'll do a simple stab forward with the exact same effect. Bee Sting is capable of being blocked, but can go behind block, so it's still a great move for chasing people down. In addition to that, the move has hyper armor on it, meaning that you can't be interrupted while running. However, you will still take damage, and you can be knocked back by ragdolls, so I wouldn't be too reckless with this. This move can be a good combo extender or starter if you use Caprice right after it, and it's not even necessary to use Caprice if you're against a wall or do a dash after your opponent. Overall, Bee Sting is a great rushdown move and has a cooldown of 15 seconds. The third move that Insect Breathing has is Dragonfly, which is probably the strongest barrage and guard break in the entire game. When used, the user will stab forwards 3 times in front of them before doing one final stab that knocks the opponent back. When someone is hit, they'll take stun on the first 3 hits, and then get ragdolled on the final one, taking decently high damage. This move can be used as a combo extender or starter because it stuns the opponent long enough that you can easily dash forward and M1 them after the move ends. You're frozen in place during the move though, and unlike Disorder or Rampant Rampage, you can't cancel it, and can only wait until the move is done. This means you're vulnerable to a 6-fold or an arrow ladder while it's going on. However, this really isn't that big of a concern because you have hyper armor while using the move, meaning that you can't be interrupted while performing it. The most interesting thing about this move, however, is the guard breaking properties. The first 3 hits of this move are blockable, but the final one will guard break your opponent. This means that if you land it on someone, regardless of if they're blocking or not, you've pretty much gotten yourself a combo, as it's impossible to dash out of the way in time to avoid the final hit. Dragonfly is a great neutral tool and combo tool, with a cooldown of 10 seconds. The fourth and final move of Insect Breathing is the ultimate, which is Centipede. On usage, the user will go into a stance and can aim their cursor onto anybody in a short range, kind of like how 6-fold works. They can hold it for as long as they want, and when they release the cursor over an opponent, the user will dash forward and play this amazing cutscene where you hit them a bunch of times. Finally, they'll be knocked away, doing a good amount of damage and knockback. You can combo extend off this move if you use Caprice right after it, but in most scenarios, it's going to be a combo ender. Centipede is basically just a buffed version of 6-fold with a much cooler cutscene. It does good damage, but when compared to most ultimates, it has really low damage. Centipede is frame 1 though, so you can very easily catch someone off guard with it, while close up. You do want to be very careful though, as it is blockable, and if you are blocked, you'll be stunned for a very long time, usually resulting in you being comboed to death. Centipede is a very straightforward ultimate that is a bit weak when compared to others, but still has a pretty good usage overall. It has the average cooldown for an ultimate being 60 seconds. Alright, so the first thing to note when you're using Insect is that you don't have an evasive. This means you'll have to be very careful with how you play, and can't afford to make a big mistake that'll lead to your death. Your moves for the most part aren't very easy to punish, but that doesn't mean they can't be punished. Caprice and Centipede have end lag when they're blocked, Beasting has a bit of end lag, and Dragonfly freezes you in place until the move ends. Insect can be a very hard ability to catch, but at the same time, it has a lot of weaknesses. The main way you'll be starting combos is with Caprice. This move is basically your magic combo extender and starter. If you land literally any of your moves, then you can throw out Caprice right after and start combo extending. If you're at long range, and your opponent seems to be running around rather than blocking, then you can also throw it out and start a combo. It's an amazing combo starter, especially for its cooldown, and you'll definitely want to make as much use of it as you can. Don't be reckless and throw it out when they're blocking though, as they'll easily just turn around, start M1ing, and probably 100-0 you within seconds. It's a great but risky move. As for Beasting, it's a really simple ability. It's better to just press the button and do the stab immediately so that your opponent is caught off guard, rather than hold it and give them a long time to react and figure out how to deal with it. If they're up close and you're in an M1 trade with them, throw out Beasting, use Caprice right after, and now you have a combo. Beasting is good, but pretty straightforward in its usage. Now, for Dragonfly, this is going to be your main tool whenever you're close up. Dragonfly has good hyper armor, so if your opponent gets up close to you, then you can use it and they won't be able to escape. However, when you're out of range, it's very important not to use it. Not only does this waste your move and put it on cooldown, but they can very easily just throw out a ranged move and punish you once it ends. If you do get a combo on them though, you can use Dragonfly and extend by dashing towards them. I'd also highly recommend that you use it on people who turtle, as it's a great guard break no matter the situation. Dragonfly is great, but you have to use it wisely. Finally, for the ultimate ability, it's best to just use it the same way you use Musical Combo. If your opponent is blindly rushing you down, or you're about to reach the end of the combo, use it to deal a free 35 damage. It's not hard to land the move, because it has no startup at all, but you do want to be careful because just like Musical Combo, it's very punishable. If you end up getting blocked, or just straight up miss, then you can expect a quick counterattack, and unlike most breathings, you don't have an evasive. Insect is a great ability for rushdowning and for playing passive with a wide variety of powerful moves. However, if you play recklessly, then you're going to end up losing every match you play. If you're fighting against Insect, then you definitely need to be very careful. Insect users have a lot of options for starting a combo, and they're all fairly quick to come out, meaning that you can very easily be caught off guard if you're reckless. However, to compensate for this major strength of Insect, the breathing does not have an evasive, meaning that if you can land just one hit on them, you can likely perform a 100-0 combo and secure a win. Add this to the fact that most of their moves can be punished, and you have pretty good odds of winning. First, the most important thing you need to know if you want to counter Insect is to block. Caprice, Beasting, and Centipede are all blockable, and Dragonfly will only guard break on the very last hit. Most of the moves are also punishable if you block them, so you have a lot to gain from doing so. If you block Caprice, then turn around and start M1ing to start a combo. If you block Centipede, then you don't even need to turn around and can just start M1ing from there. Beasting is a bit harder to punish, but you can usually catch them off guard with a hyper armor move or something else. As for Dragonfly, it'll be a bit harder to counter it. At close range, you want to be on the lookout for the move, as there's a high chance they'll throw it out to start a combo. If you end up blocking, then your best shot at survival is to use a frame 1 or hyper armor move in order to escape from the last hit. You can try dashing at the end, but it's pretty difficult to do and doesn't work all the time. If the Insect user ends up wasting your Dragonfly from afar, then just throw out a ranged move near the end of it and punish them hard for it. You can even quickly dash in once they've done the last hit to start an M1 combo. Dragonfly is a scary move, but there's plenty of counterplay to it. If your opponent starts running around with Beasting, either throw out Sixfold or some other range move to punish them, or simply block and dodge. It's pretty easy to counter Insect, but you do need to be careful when doing so. If you end up in a combo, wait until your opponent is M1ing you to use your evasive, and quickly block after you do. Insect's combos are highly reliant on Ragdoll, and if you waste your evasive, you're as good as dead. If you're in a combo with your evasive, then you have to do anything to escape. The combo links are risky, and there's usually a chance you can get out at some point. However, if you fail to escape, you're going to lose. Overall, Insect is a dangerous ability to fight, but also one that can be very easily countered with the right decisions. As long as you play your cards right, you can defeat any Insect user that you fight. Overall, Insect is a pretty solid breathing with some large weaknesses to compensate for its strengths. It has some of the best combos in the entire game, alongside some of the best combo starters. It can play a very strong neutral with its quick moves that can easily catch players off guard, and it also has one of the strongest guard breaks in the game, with that being Dragonfly. Centipede is also one of the few ults in the game that's frame 1, and is great for catching people off guard. However, Insect can easily be punished if the moves are used recklessly, and this can be devastating considering that Insect does not have an evasive like other abilities in the game. They also have combos that rely a lot on Ragdoll in order to work, which can be very risky. If you're looking for a risky glass cannon kind of playstyle, then Insect will definitely be a great choice for you. It has great moves in neutral, and can shred HP bars if you perform the combos correctly. With that being said, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed watching, please like and subscribe so that you're notified of future uploads from me. It helps out a lot, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Anyways, I'm 𝓥𝓲𝓭𝓮𝓸, and I'll see you next time in another video. Bye!